What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and this video I want to talk about a very interesting rumor connected to PlayStation and connected to some sort of racing game. Now, this gets me very excited. You might see the image behind me here. God willing, we might be able to get Motorstorm back. And if it's not Motorstorm, maybe it could be Wipeout or something. There's actually more than one option, but let's go through kind of how we got here. So this came from, I think, Reset Era originally. I'm going to take it from Reddit. They do a better job, I think, at kind of compiling what happened. So there was a ex-dev, right, Sony ex-dev, and they were sharing job posts for this studio. And this studio that's called Stellar Entertainment, they've worked with PlayStation before. They're made up basically of ex-Criterion members who did like Need for Speed and stuff, and they actually recently helped with the Horizon remaster. Okay, so they've helped with Horizon. They've done a couple, I think, remasters of some Need for Speed games. I think like 3 Need for Speed games. And right now they're working on a AAA arcade racing game. Now, everything is kind of fragmented, right? You kind of have to put it all together. This is a studio that most recently has had ties to PlayStation, but they're not owned by them. There's no like massive indicator. There's like a partnership going on, okay? So, but they've worked with them with Horizon. Then you have, okay, well, their background is they did Horizon. They've done remasters. That's pretty much exclusively what they've done, but they have the racing background. In fact, Horizon is the thing that made the least amount of sense that they participated in, okay? They normally do remasters, and they normally do racing remasters. They say literally on their front page, actually, if you go on their website, they say right there in front of you, AAA arcade racing game. And then you throw in that ex-dev thing. Now, as the Reddit post said, that previously this individual was only sharing job postings for Fire Sprite. So this is a person that doesn't work with any of the ones that he's, posting or reposting, but he seems to only be reposting PlayStation connections, right? Studios that are owned, studios that are in collaboration with PlayStation. I guess the thing is, okay, well, why would he share one versus another, or is it the exact same reason, right? Is he sharing this post from this studio, job postings, because it's in some connection with PlayStation? So that's one thing. Now, I actually just found this just typing in Motorstorm on Google, and I completely forgot about this. This was like this year, back in January. The user Tidux, I hope I'm saying that right, Tidux, on Twitter literally had said back January 17th, a new Motorstorm game is in development, started about a year ago, looks to take some points from Apocalypse and have single player and multiplayer modes. Now, I don't know anything about this person. I mean, I've clicked on their profile. It seems like a PlayStation leaning account. I don't care about the console wars. In fact, I don't participate. I think they're stupid, but that doesn't, I would say this to be fair to the individual, that doesn't take away from anything, right? Like, even if you're in PlayStation's field, and even if you prefer it, or even if you do console warrior type things, but it's just PlayStation backing, right? That's what you see on the account. Even if that's true, in fact, that probably actually makes it more realistic, right? Because there could be connections that this person has to some of the inner workings of PlayStation. I don't know, a lot of PlayStation rumors are just so hit or miss, right? Like, sometimes you get something and it sticks and it's real. Sometimes it's just completely fake. Like, PlayStation is kind of a hard one. Like, there are like 50, like, people I almost feel are fed false info, or they're just liars. But, one of those two, of PlayStation stuff, and then it doesn't end up happening, right? So, but interesting, because I never saw that. So we have this studio. Now, like, here's the thing. I guess here's how I kind of want to end this. Arcade racing game. When I hear arcade, and when I looked at the Reddit post too, the very first comment is the first one I thought of, which is Wipeout. Wipeout, when I hear arcade racing game, I think Wipeout. I don't think Motorstorm. Motorstorm is not, I would say, an arcadey type thing. However, if you look at, again, what that studio has been used to making, you look at that Need for Speed background, that is way more Motorstorm than it is Wipeout. And then you have this. Then you have this post of just a few months ago, right, that a Motorstorm game has been in development. Two things can be true at once, like in this situation. And I don't know, like, I really want it back. I love Motorstorm. It was, I think, I played a demo of like the Chronicles of Narnia, Prince Caspian. That was the very first PS3 game, technically I ever played was that demo. I played that demo, then I played Prototype 1. That's why I got my PS3, but I got the PS3 bundle, the fat PS3, with Motorstorm and Resistance. It was that bundle back in June of 2009. I still have it, still have the first Motorstorm. I have Apocalypse. I think those two games freaking rock. I love Wipeout. Wipeout might be better, but I just actually prefer Motorstorm. They're two, kind of different types of things. I love both. So honestly, there is no losing situation here. If they're making Wipeout, heck yes. If they're making Motorstorm, also heck yes. I guess there is a lose situation. It's if they're not making either of those, and if they're not have anything to do with PlayStation. But just thought I would bring that to your attention, see what you all think. Let me know. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.